Welcome to the Golf Spotlight. I'm Ralph Irvin, and today we are at the headquarters of Adidas Golf, looking at footwear, talking about really the growth of footwear overall on the golf course. And I'm here with the global director of Adidas Golf Footwear, and that's Mason Dennison. Mason, thanks for joining us again.
Ralph, pleasure to always be on. Excited to talk about shoes. You know I love footwear, so let's do it.
We go back talking footwear for a number of years, and we've seen a lot of trends come in the industry. And a lot of people would say, well, that's something that I did then, and boy, that was dumb. No, a lot of what we've seen is what has led to the footwear collection that Adidas has now. And you go back, technology has really changed, and the thinking about technology has changed for different golfers of different levels.
It's changed so much. I've been privileged to be a part of this industry for 13 years now, and you go back even 10 years and you see what was going on back then. Shoes were more rigid and stiff. And our original Tour 360, I always say if you look at that today, it looks sort of old now, but when it came out in 2004, 2005, it was literally, people were flipping out. You can't wear something like that on a golf course. It's got an athletic midsole. It's got a red color pop in it. I mean, we've come so far since then, and we've gone through trends where shoes got lower profile, then we went through Spikeless, then we went to lightweight, and there's been so many different industry trends. I'd like to think Adi has always been on the forefront of those trends because we're a brand that's all about technology and leadership. But I think all of those trends have sort of led us to where we're at today, and we're trying to use all that knowledge and all those learnings over the years and sort of build the best line possible.
Well, and unlike, say, club technology or ball technology, where the new technology comes and eclipses the old one, the reality is when you look at the tour, all tours, you're going to see shoes that fit all these different styles. You're going to see shoes that are based off of something that we saw 10 years ago, and you're going to see shoes that look nothing like it that are totally modern.
I love talking footwear with the club guys because I think there's a perception sometimes that footwear maybe is fairly simple. You design a shoe and you get it out there and people are going to wear it. But I think what makes footwear really unique is that there's a cosmetic, an aesthetic that's really important, but there's also a technology part. It's sort of in between apparel and footwear. And so the shoe has to have the technology angle, and you have to make sure you continue to improve, but it has to be visually impactful too. And here's the thing, every foot is different. So what works for one person or one player type doesn't work for someone else. And so literally every foot, there's how many people on this planet? 5 billion. Every single person, like a fingerprint, has a different foot. So some people like shoes that are flexible. Some people like shoes that are stiff. Some people like shoes that are higher off the ground. Some people like shoes that are lower to the ground. So on top of the visual preferences, there's so much going on with each person's body. So for us in our line, we try to make sure we capture what's important about performance, and we try to make every person as comfortable as possible.
Well, and when you look at something like performance, typically nowadays you're looking at the Tour 360 line, you're looking at the Power Band, and what people don't know if they don't really get into the tech is that those are two different styles designed for different types of golfers.
Absolutely. So those are in what we call our sport performance lineup. So that's really the line that we put the most innovations we have. So anything that we're really looking at that's brand new that we've never used before, or basically tour level technologies are going to help guys like Dustin Johnson and Sergio and John Rahm go out and win majors and win tournaments. That's the type of product it goes into. But yes, certainly the 360 has different set of technologies than the Power Band. The Power Band's all lock and load. It's perimeter stability on the outsole. It's grip. It's lightweight. And then 360, the hallmark is premium. It's got a leather finish to it. It's got that 360 wrap, so it holds the midfoot, but the forefoot's a little bit more open. Both are really good in different ways. They look different. They perform different. And again, one person likes one, and then someone else likes the other. So it's the reason we have multiple models.
And you think back to, say, 2008, when you went low and you came out with the Tour 360 Limited, that almost was the entry point into what's now the Adi Pure.
Yeah, we were very proud of that shoe, the Tour 360 Limited. I don't know if you were at the launch at Riviera. It takes me back almost 10 years. But I remember sitting on the truck, and Dustin actually was one of the first tournaments I met him at. And even Sergio came on and went, wow, that looks kind of like a dress shoe, but it's still athletic. And that was the moment for me it clicked. I'm going, we've done something special here. And literally overnight, a shoe that was really famous, the FootJoy Classic, sort of started to taper off because we came in with something that had the attributes of a classic shoe, but it was still light. It was still technical. It had a really cool TPU outsole. So it had those classic elements, but then it had the Adi twist of technology. And that led to the Adi Pure line that we have today.
And a couple years later, you started really working in non-cleated, and that kind of led to what's now the Adi Cross.
Yeah, that thing, the Spikeless movement really happened overnight. I mean, Fred Couples, wearing that shoe at the Masters was, I couldn't believe how quickly it happened that people thought for the first time, how cool is it that I can wear a shoe to the golf course in my car, to the clubhouse, play in it, go to the bar afterwards, and then go out and about on the town and come home and be in the same product. And I think comfort became something that was even more important after that movement. Because if you take cleats out of a shoe, you do lose some traction, but you gain comfort and flexibility. So I think through this spikeless movement, if we've learned anything, it's that people now expect more comfort in a shoe. Even if it's a cleated shoe, they now want more comfort because they've probably worn something that's more tennis sneaker-like, something in the spikeless realm.
Now, what are you trying to do with the spikeless category to really differentiate Adidas from basically everybody else out there?
That was something we actually sat down to talk about as a team about 3 years ago because spikeless is easier to make a spikeless shoe, basically. We had a lot of newcomers come into golf footwear. So you saw a lot of brands coming in that didn't have to invest in the toolings that the sort of money you have to do when you have a cleated outsole. So for us, we needed to find a new recipe. We didn't want to just be another spikeless shoe brand. And it got kind of flooded, to be honest, especially below $100. So we decided to come in with more technology, which is why you see Gripmore. Gripmore is a technology where it's spikeless, but it offers more traction, and that's why Justin Rose and Camilo and Martin Keimer prefer that shoe. And in some of the spikeless shoes we're offering now is you also get better cushioning. So we're bringing in Boost, and we're bringing in bounce foams, and all kinds of technologies that give you more cushioning and comfort. So yes, it's spikeless, it's more versatile, but we still want to have an edge with comfort, traction, and performance. And so finding those advantages for us is going to be even more important as we go forward.
One thing that you've done over the years also is experiment with different materials on the outer of the shoe. I mean, going from the 50-50 technology, which was essentially waterproof knit, all the way down to many different types of styles now.
Yeah, we offer a mix of leather shoes. Sometimes, so microfiber is kind of that, ooh, is it not real leather? Sometimes microfiber is more appropriate because it saves weight. But I think one of the newest trends you're seeing is more mesh shoes in the market. They take color really well. They're really light. They're really comfortable. And comfort's such a huge thing nowadays. So I think that comfort edition of mesh product is really cool. For us, one of the advantages we think we have is a material called knit. So we use more knit products today than we have from last year or the year before that. And knit is just something that's really exciting because you can place the knit structures where you want in the shoe. So you can make a shoe more stable, you can add film to it to reinforce it, but you get the color, you get the excitement on the look. It looks something like a cool running shoe you've seen in the market. So I think the knit and the mesh materials that are available nowadays allow us to offer sportier looks, more lightweight, breathable product that still has golf-specific stability. So I think that recipe is sometimes hard to find, but when you do it, I think the visual, stunning look of the product is more impactful.
Obviously, this is for men's shoes, but is it really the same kind of categories for women?
Well, it's different in the sense of what we don't want to do is pink it and shrink it, right? That was what 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of brands were like, what are we doing in men's? And let's just add pink color to it and offer it in women's. So we're doing dedicated designs, but what I'm really excited about is the AdiPure lineup, the Sport Performance lineup, and the AdiCross lineup that we talked about in men's. That style of shoe is offered on the ladies' side. Now, the colors are different, the design of the shoes are different, but the AdiCross women's shoes are made for on-off course versatility. The women's performance shoes are made for tour athletes like Paula Creamer, and we test it with her. And then the women's AdiPure products are classically infused with technology. So that whole flavor of offering applies to both sides, which is nice.
One other trend that's been going on in all apparel, all clothing, golf or not, now into footwear, is special editions, limited editions or special editions. And you've kind of followed that trend the last few years. You've come up with a lot of really cool special editions, whether it's for the Open Championship, whether it's for the Masters, whether it's for the Olympics, all sorts of different ideas.
Yeah, I'm going to correct you on that one. I'm going to say we set the trend on this. I'm really proud of this initiative. I think in golf footwear, we are the leader in limited and special edition offerings. I can remember sitting down 3.5 years ago, and talking to our footwear team and saying, God, they do in originals and in all these other categories, they do these limited launches. Now, I know that's fashion. I know that's, these massive categories, but why couldn't we do something like that in golf? No one's doing it. And so we said, you know what, let's take a stab at it. Let's do the first ever limited edition golf shoe, comes in special packaging, do a marketing push around it. And so we did, in 2015, we launched the first limited editions. We did azalea flower shoes. We did some camo shoes, which were really cool. So that's really what started it. And over 2 years, it's been extraordinary to see what that's done for our brand. We have people lining up to buy these limited editions now. The last one we launched, the Pimento shoe, sold out in 3 minutes. I think we're the first ever golf shoe brand to have a shoe sold on the resale market. So we had a shoe sold for over $1,000, a golf shoe on StockX. So that was when we felt like we made it. We're like, there is demand in a big way for some of these cool special launches in golf.
Well, and it's a reason that people should be following Adidas Golf on Twitter for that reason. If people want to get more information about all the different shoes from Adidas Golf, where do they go?
Obviously, go to adidasgolf.com. We have a great digital site. You can navigate. There's a shoe finder on there. You can even find the right fit for you. You can look through all the products. There's great videos, a lot of stuff about the brand in general, and a great selection of products as well. We're excited. A lot of good stuff to come, and we're putting the pedal down.
All right, Mason. Thanks as always for the time.
All right. Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate it.
I want to thank Mason Dennison for joining us here on the Golf Spotlight. Join us next time as we continue to give you the information that you need for your next golf purchase.